people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another match reaction and another win for Chelsea Football Club. 3-1 in the night against Palace. Not the best of performances. Was it a relief yesterday? Yes. Don't get me wrong, but they managed to come out and get the job done. Some things that we haven't seen under a Poch team earlier in the season. Players coming out and actually playing and trying to solve problems, but also Poch tactically maybe doing one or two things that actually suited us better in the second half than did in the first. We're going to discuss everything in and around that game, guys. Lots to get into. Make sure you're smashing them likes. I'm talking to you. You right there, staring at me. Smash the like buttons, guys. Hit my nose. We're going to do a little talk about transfer news quickly first, guys. A little bit on transfer news, and then we're going to talk about the game, and then we're going to talk about specific players from yesterday's performance as well. So make sure you smash the like buttons, guys, and let's cue that intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for another match reaction to what was a very good performance by the Blues yesterday, second half. It was better. I wouldn't say a very good performance. Very poor performance in the first, and the second half they bounced back and performed and managed to equally get the job done. We're going to be breaking down that Palace versus Chelsea 3-1 game. 2 goals for Mr. Conor Gallagher. Someone that gets a lot of criticism by this football club, by the fans and co. But yeah, lots to get into, guys. Lots to get into. I want to start by talking to the chat quickly. Say hello to everyone. Leo, big up to you. Dexter, welcome. Joey, what we saying, my bro? Are you good? You know I'm there. Yeah, bro. As soon as I get the notification, you're always here, Joey, man. Always. Big up to Joey. Lord, welcome. Chad, welcome. Just like Aston. A little bit different to Aston Villa for me in many ways. Peter Cech needs to return to Chelsea is what Eon's saying. Guys, if you are over at Twitter, welcome. I've decided to do it on Twitter as well. Make sure you come and say hello to us over there, guys. Tap the screen. If you can, just keep sharing. I don't know how it works over there. Like likes, share it, or do your thing. I see people sharing it on Twitter now, actually. If you can keep sharing it on Twitter, guys, that'll be amazing for me, and it will help the platform as well, guys. So please do that. And the same here, guys. Keep tapping the likes, keep sharing as well, because it's equally important for both channels. Basically, we played well for 10 minutes. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Jeff, welcome. How are you, bro? Good to see you. Hope you're well. All right, let's get into the thick of things, guys. Let's start with the news in and around. Where is it? Not you. Why can I not see you? There we go. Mudryk. And I did say we're going to talk quickly a little bit about, let's say, like transfer news, but news that's already been and gone. Bayern Munich considered a late January move from Mudryk on loan from Chelsea, but it was not even concrete negotiations. No chances Chelsea didn't want Mudryk to leave, and so Bayern focus was on bringing Brian Zaragoza to the club. So they did try and approach Mudryk from Chelsea. They were interested in him. We said strictly no. He's not really playing much at the moment, and obviously the strict no just means because we've just bought, we've spent a lot of money in him, but at the same time, would a little loan maybe do a good thing? Yeah. Are we suffering from many injuries, and can we afford to let Mudryk go now? Probably not. I don't think I think he needs game time, and with Nkunku coming back into the team now as well, I think it's going to be very hard for him to be able to do that, or be able to do that in a more consistent basis, because he's just not taking his chances for me. Could a loan at Bayern have been good for him? Maybe. But at the end of the day, the fact that we turned it away and we moved on from it is intriguing, to say the least, that was even happening, to be quite honest with you. Conor Gallagher. News on Conor Gallagher, who had a very good performance for Chelsea in the second half yesterday. Tottenham Hotspur are to make a move for Conor Gallagher at the end of the season if the midfielder has still not agreed a new contract. And this is via Matt Law again. Yes, some people some people despise him. This is obviously what he said on that. And a big part of the reason of that, guys, is, I'll tell you why, is because they feel that they can get him a lot cheaper because his contract's coming to the end. And according to Matt Law under the Simon Phillips thing, it says Conor Gallagher's transfer value is falling as his contract runs out in its final 12 months. However, his salary profile is increasing. His salary profile is increasing in terms of what he can ask for in terms of a wage roll. But where we're losing is obviously where he hasn't agreed to sign an extension at the club. Now, one of the clever things that previous clubs have done with players is by giving them 1 year, 2 years extensions, like I think it happened with Nkunku and some other people, where they were coming at the end and they gave them a contract extension, and it sort of held their value. It brought their value to a point where we'll be able to recoup or maybe make more profit on, where we feel that he's valued at. But at the moment, we can't do that because he's not agreed a contract. We've not given him anything. So at the moment, Tottenham Hotspur are looking at it and going, well, you've got 12 months left. He's running down his contract. The more that he runs down his contract, the less value Chelsea can ask for. However, they're going to have a huge, I won't say huge, but a biggest salary profile or salary wage to pay for him, which I think Chelsea, I don't know. I think Chelsea needs to try and work that one out. Whether or not Chelsea are going to keep him or not, I think we should look to at least give him an extension for at least 2 years, in my opinion. And that will then allow us to be in a position to gain as much value as we possibly can on the guy. Do you know what I mean? Does need game time, but but he won't get it. Yeah, this is the thing. Give Gallagher a new contract. Just give him a proper contract. Otherwise, we'll end up regretting it. Give him a proper contract. But to give him a proper contract to then sell him so that we can sell him for market value or more, it's going to be more than market value because we know there's an inflation in the price. Yeah, they need to find a way to sort that out, Chelsea, in my opinion. They're going to have to, because one of the players that we said that was going to bring the most value in sales when it comes to selling players, because we are going to sell players. I know there was talks about Chelsea being able to spend 300 to 350 million pounds players, but let's not forget that we do have a hella big book under the bridge at the moment that needs to be reduced. And there's players in there, it shouldn't even be there. Kepa's going to come back. Lukaku's still at the club. Ziyech's still at the club. These guys ain't going to bring you big market values. If we're lucky, we'll get 20, 30 or mil for these players. But with Conor Gallagher, you can maybe push the boat for a 50, 60 plus million pound if you're lucky on him. His age, his youth, his profile as well for what he does. If a club is so interested in it, they'll pay the money. Do you know what I mean? Isn't he refusing a contract as he wants more wages? Probably. That's what happened. This is the whole thing that went on with Mason Mount. And people forget this. People forget this thing about the whole Mason Mount story. This was the same crap. This was the same crap. Why would we sell our best player? Well, he's Poch's best player because he's the only one that he's managed to improve, which is quite worrying, isn't it, really, at this moment in time? I don't think Chelsea want to sell him. I don't know. I don't really know. I'm really stuck with the whole Gallagher thing anymore because I don't know. Because I feel like if we need to sell him and we need market value, we need money, you sell him. If you want him at the club truly, and Poch seems to be growing to like him more and more and more, do you keep him? What would I do? I'd offer him a contract. I wouldn't give him stupid wages because he's not a 220k player, in my opinion. He just isn't. Take it within the hundreds, Conor Gallagher. Stop being greedy, mate. And then, and get on with it. Gallagher is a tactical player. Apparently, it's the length of contract that's the issue. Probably. We'll see what happens more in and around that as well. All right, coming out of Gallagher news, we will go in to talk about Mauricio Pochettino, who, under the Ornstein thing, Chelsea are backing Pochettino, but of course, results need to improve. The inconsistency will be deemed unacceptable, is what David Ornstein has said at NBC Sports Soccer. And to be quite honest with you, there's no shock, really. There's no real news there for me, personally. It doesn't matter who or what manager you are. If you consisted in playing for losses as much as we have under Pochettino for that period and the way it's been going on, there's only a certain amount of time I feel that he'll be able to sort of be, hold his position as a manager. I would expect him to. I don't expect him to be going anywhere anytime soon now because I think I would say he's turned the corner. But the win against Aston Villa and definitely the win yesterday has given him a bit of breathing space. We go against Man City on Saturday, which, let's be serious, could go Pete Tong, or it could surprise us. Chelsea are just that. That is Chelsea right now. Let's be serious. That's just Chelsea right now. I don't think he's going to go anywhere before the final now. If he'd have lost to Aston Villa and if he would have lost yesterday, I think we'd be talking about a new manager coming in. I think we would have. Based on the back of the performances prior to that, up to that point, I think he would have been on his way out. And I'm not saying it's a game by game situation with these owners now, but I feel the pressure not only for the board but also from the fans and everything that was going on in the round would have maybe not forced him out the door, but he would have had problems in my opinion. But winning these last 2 games, he's given himself a bit of time. He's just got to keep moving forward. 130k is a fair amount. If we sell him, I won't. Yeah. That has got to be the most weirdest comment I have ever seen in my life. You got to be joking, bro. I mean, the first half, but then let's not do this. Enzo was bad because the whole first half, I think, barring Malagusto, who is my boy, and we're going to be talking about him later, I think we all kind of struggled in that game yesterday. Everyone did. But in the second half, they were much better. Even Enzo was much better. The stats even prove Enzo was so much better. He controlled the game. He linked the play. We moved the ball quicker under him. And then he scored his goal. Comfortable. Made a good run in behind, received the ball, cut inside, put the player on the floor twice, bang. I don't believe that. I'm sorry. City, Liverpool, Arsenal, United, Newcastle, all within next month. Poch got work to do. Yeah, this is the thing right now. It's big games. It's really big games. And we're going to quickly talk about yesterday's game, and we're going to talk about it from a tactical standpoint. Before we start talking about the individual players, we're going to talk about it from a tactical point because it's very easy to just keep blaming the players. And I'm not saying the players shouldn't get blamed, but I think we need to talk about what we saw in the first half. And I think it's equally important that we start seeing the patterns, the differences. And I keep stressing it. The difference in how he sets us up in the first half was different to the second. Tactically, it was different. And decisions, problem solving, it was different. He made decisions at halftime, brought Nkunku on, forced Palmer into the right. We all knew, and I said it in the group yesterday, the issue with yesterday's first half, right, was the forward line. That was the issue. The issue was the forward line. There was no runs being made behind. Everyone was coming to the ball. Gallagher and Palmer were doing the exact same thing because Palmer naturally wants to drop, receive, turn, run. Gallagher was doing what he's meant to be doing in that role. Yeah. And all it done was just leave centre-backs of Crystal Palace empty. No one making runs behind. Nothing to worry about because it's all in front of them. Yeah. And then all it then done was allow the midfield of Crystal Palace to press us a bit more. Enzo, Caicedo, this, that and the other. We struggled to get up the pitch. We just struggled to get up the pitch. It wasn't working. And he went back to that same hold Caicedo on his own with Enzo up front with Jackson and blimmin' Gallagher way up there. And like Johan, who I've got a lot of time for, we talk a lot. He's talking about the first half yesterday, and he said, with Palace's main transitional threats out, we might survive, but still harder than it should be. What we cannot do, however, is be sending both fullbacks and midfielders forward. 3-1-6 is bad enough on transitions against more teams. A 2-1-7 would be a nightmare. Okay. And then you look at, he's tried to show us some clips of us at the ball at the time and the positions again. Obviously, look, Caicedo's the deepest one again. Gallagher, Enzo, Palmer this time is a bit further up in between the lines. Madueke, who I thought didn't have a good game, dropped in. And then there was this. And when you look at the way that we're starting to attack more under Pochettino, and he's been trying to do it a lot more, is that we're trying to attack the box. And by forcing so many players to attack the box, which I haven't got too much of a problem with, it's just how we're structured outside of it. So it's all right having numbers in the box, but it's what happens when that man doesn't get the ball or someone from the defense clears it or whatever. It's then how is your structure? If we get hit in the break, are we going to get caught? These are the things that are important. And again, in the first half, he kept doing it. He kept forcing it. Enzo, Caicedo all the way over there. You know, Caicedo, the most deepest person again, trying to take players on again, receive balls, dropping in between the centre backs, which is what he done against Aston Villa. There was no chemistry, there was no flow, there was no movement. The forward line was non-existent. Madueke, in my opinion, was fault for the goal. In my opinion, Cole Palmer was non-existent. We've got to get it out the air. Cole Palmer is not a false nine. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Big up, Rich and Matty. Good to see you. You know, it just doesn't work, you know. And then once we've gone to that and that, we scroll up and then it goes again every single week. So, again, this time, Thiago Silva's the furthest player forward with the ball. Now, people were talking about Thiago Silva releasing the ball quick enough and not moving the ball quick enough. Look at the positions of the players. And this is the problem. When we start getting our centre-backs so high up the pitch and involved in playmaking, this is what we're doing now, is when we start having problems. I'll be quite honest with you. Because the movement between the lines is not good enough, in my opinion, in finding pockets. Yeah, it's easy for them to defend. The centre-backs and the defenders are as tight as they can be to the midfield, so there's no spaces in between. It's easy for them to defend. We weren't shifting them. We wasn't getting behind them. We wasn't dragging them out of position. They were just set. And all we kept doing to make it 10 times worse was playing 2-mile-an-hour football. We were so slow in the first half. It was pathetic. We was not moving the ball quick enough one bit. And quite frankly, the setups was wrong. It was wrong. It was wrong from all the way up to 20 minutes, which was still not noticed. You know? But that can't happen. And then 4 seconds into the game, this is 4 seconds into the game. 4 seconds into the game, we're playing what we always play. You know? Caicedo dropping in the deep. Enzo, who, again, is quite far away here. Palmer's now dropping in. Gallagher's off on the left. And then I think that's Nkunku and Jackson. So this is the second half. So we're trying to get in between the lines a lot more. You know, and this is the way he's trying to play. And I'll be quite interested to know what he says about that. Doesn't say anything. So, yeah, I think that was it. I think that was it. Can't show that. Yeah. So, my point is, in the first half, I felt like we were set up in a way where we weren't able to be as successful because the tempo was slow. The tactical point of it wasn't right again. We started playing too far away from each other. We wasn't connecting. We got sloppy because the chemistry wasn't there. We wasn't able to do 1-2s, them tight passes, running behind and stuff, which we like to do. It was all just a bit, they were lost. And it was crap. You know, and we went 1-0 behind. And we went 1-0 behind, which some people say, well, Petrovic should have saved it. But let's not forget, for me, this is a foul. Right, and that tackle there is a ricochet against Caicedo and his leg there. Right, so then Caicedo gets tripped. He gets tripped here. So he wins the ball, but trips Caicedo doing the back of it. And then watch the second tackle. Look. Well, watch this. If Gallagher moves out the way for once. At what part does he... I need to watch this again. In quick mode. Where does he get the ball? The guy doesn't even get the ball. Look. Just run straight through him, look. It's a foul. I don't know what the ref and VAR weren't looking at there. It's a foul. That there, I know Madueke put him in trouble there. Yeah, Madueke's put him in trouble there. He knows he has, yeah? It's ricocheted off in there. He's already going. But then this other player just runs in. Look at that. He doesn't even touch the ball. He just runs into him. And completely takes him out. Look, that's a foul. That was a foul. I know we were shit yesterday, but that and you know the next part of it is quality, but that's a foul, mate. That is a foul. Like I don't get why they couldn't see that. You know that I don't get why they can't see that. How that wasn't a foul, in my opinion. I found that very weird. But I want to talk about positive points. I want to keep talking about the negatives. The second half we came out, Pochettino made a specific sub and he made Enzo stay a little bit deeper, but then break as of when we were on counters. It worked better. We flowed better. The link between Gallagher and Palmer worked better because Palmer now was occupying the right. Gallagher was now more free in the middle to receive balls and play him quickly. And that's why you started seeing that's why you started seeing quick quick movements forward in the second half, because now that we were flowing, now we were more balanced, now there was more of a chemistry. We had Nkunku coming in off the left and switching with Jackson, and they looked like a problem every time with their speed in behind. And Newcastle Palace didn't know what to do with it at that point, you know. But we're going to talk about, first person we're going to talk about quickly is Mr. Enzo Fernandez, because he gets a lot of stick about by rivals about his performances. And yeah, they've not been amazing performances, don't get me wrong. But let's be serious. The one thing rivals always moan about is how many goals Enzo Fernandez scores, and he scored 7 this season. I think he's going to hit double digits in a season that's not really been his best season, by the way. Let's just get that out there for people. He's on the 7 already in total. He scored more goals than Szoboszlai. Yeah. And he scored the same amounts of goals than Bruno Fernandes, who plays in a further position, Odegaard and Martinelli, who are meant to be world class to Arsenal fans. So we talk about man not being able to find the goal and find net. 2 in these last 2 games. Man stepping up in front of goal, doing his thing. Wait, Jem, were we shit or were we good? X has our fan base saying 2 different things. This is an example of why I said the eye test is BS when people see the differences. So the first half we were shit. And that came down to 2 things for me. How we were set up and the forward line. And the players. 3 things. Well, how we set up and forward line is the same thing. You can put that under one bracket. And the players. Do I think the players underperformed in that first half to a degree? Yes. Not good enough from some of them. Most of them, barring Malagusto. However, was we set up correctly based on how Palace was set up and how they were defending structurally? No. We had no forward line. And with no forward line, we struggled to get up the pitch and find the spaces, get the pockets in behind. No. The second half, he brings in Nkunku on, okay, and pushes Jackson and Nkunku close to each other, pulls Palmer deeper into the right, plays Gallagher in the 10, and we started getting a lot more joy because not only did Enzo feel like he was a lot more closer to Caicedo, barring when he went forward on the counters for obviously the goal and stuff, but we just looked more dangerous. Palmer was occupying the right. Rather than occupying the same space as Conor Gallagher was in the first half. And that's where we had the problems. Gallagher and Palmer, who are both close to each other, understandable because you're playing a 10 and a false 9, were both doing the same thing. But then it was leaving the centre-backs of Crystal Palace with nothing to do. And it gave them a comfortable structure. On top of that, the slowness of how we was moving the ball in the first half was crap. The tempo was so slow. You're never, ever going to be able to open them up like that, you know? So it's a mixture of things, in my opinion. But in the second half, the intensity increased. The direct passing in behind worked. The runs, which I kept banging on about in the group chat, about us making runs behind, started happening. Yeah, so we started attacking the space and we moved the ball quicker. And again, chemistry-wise, on the pitch, we flowed better. It just felt better. Palmer was occupying the right more. He had more time. And Conor Gallagher was left in the middle more to occupy the space rather than 2 people running in the same positions. It just worked better. I think eye test can be reviewed on 2 things. It can be highlighted in what you see originally on the game. But then I think importantly, which I know a lot of views do, maybe re-highlighting the game and watching it closely. Because in the first instance you watch it, you see, but then sometimes you just don't see the full picture, I feel sometimes with eye test. So yeah, yesterday it was a bit of both, a bit of everything for me. I'm not going to lie. So Enzo Fernandez, good performance. Good second performance. Not good in the first half. I see a lot of people moaning about, oh, he was wasting the ball. The reason he was wasting the ball so much, may I just say quickly, was because he was trying to get us on the move. Kept playing these quick balls, which I think he's overrushed. Don't get me wrong. He's overrushing his passes. I'll not find them. But it's so many times yesterday in the first half where he picks the ball and he just wants to go like that all the time. But there was nothing. He couldn't do it. You know, and again, by doing that, you're hindering him. So at the end of the day, yeah, he wasn't great in the first half, but everything was just not there. The chemistry went like that to the second half. Second half was different. We dropped. You know, the chemistry was not good. And then we go on to someone that's just continues to perform and perform and perform and turn up. And I'm going to say it, the last 2 games, he's played the false 9. I don't want to see him there. You hinder Cole Palmer when you play him as a false 9. End of. He's just not as good as a false 9 as he is playing off the right or playing in the 10 run. It's just facts. That we can all agree on, I'm assuming. Because he was hardly involved in the Villa game, even though we smashed them. And yesterday's game, he was non-existent. We were better when he was occupying the space in his own, in himself, off the right. Hazard's first season at Chelsea was 38 matches, 14 goals, 9 assists. Cole Palmer's first season at Chelsea so far is 21 matches, 10 goals, 6 assists. If Palmer produces anything close to Hazard numbers in his Chelsea career, I'll forget about losing De Bruyne, is what Vince is saying here. And to just add to Cole Palmer and how he's been playing at the moment, Cold Palmer, sorry. He has 21 goal assists in 26 appearances for Chelsea. What a player he is. 21. He's at 21. I think he's got 11. I don't know if it's broken down to. I know he's got 7 assists, is he? 7 assists and God knows how many goals. But anyway. But we move. And he's on form, and he's someone that steps up, and he's continuing to step up and playing very well. It depends on who it is for many people. I have to get you guys in a second. Let me just quickly send you the links, actually, because I'm coming to the point where I need you to come in now. So let me do that. The links in the chat, forward and couch. He was better second half. He was in his natural position. He's more effective. His visions, his pass to Enzo Fernandez is so underrated. It's ridiculous. People don't realize how hard that pass was that he made to Enzo Fernandez. The speed of it, even find that vision to play it, because it was a tight space that he played it into him, by the way. And it was a great pass. Absolute unbelievable pass. And the ones for Conor Gallagher, he runs direct. Gallagher fills him in. He runs direct, cuts back inside on his strong foot, lays it across the goal. And Conor Gallagher, 2 very good finishes. Something that we can't really say for him for most of the season. He's been very poor in that position in front of goal in numerous occasions. But yesterday, against his old club, he puts it in the back of the net. And that's what we need more from Gallagher. If you're going to occupy them positions, Gallagher, be effective. Be effective, mate, in them positions more consistently. I want to see it because he can do it. He was doing it at Palace. This is what confuses me. At Palace, he was banging left, right, and centre. So do it more. If you're going to stay in the team, do it more. And for me, the man of the match, who we're going to go to next, the man of the match, this guy. There were 2 players that I stressed more than anyone we needed to get. And you can rewind to my summer shows talking about right backs when we had this issue of Reece James being injured all the time and whatever. And I sat here, I think Forward was with me actually, funny enough. With Forward, I think it was. And I was banging on about this guy. I said to you, this guy is the guy. He is very, very, very good. Going forward, going back, everything in what he does is good. He needs to improve still on specific parts, but he's young. But he, for me, he's solving the issue of Reece James not being in the team. The level's not gone like that, like it used to in the past. It's just that now. For me, he's in the team. I don't even think about Reece James anymore. That goes to show you. Back in the last couple of seasons when we had fucking Ruben Loftus-Cheek playing in that position or someone out of position over there, I used to sit there and be like, when's Reece James coming back? When's Reece James coming back? When's he coming back, man? I need him. Now I don't even think of Reece James. I don't even think of him. And is there a discussion that if Chelsea are going to get 60 mil for Reece James still and Real Madrid come knocking on the door, is there a potential discussion that he could leave the club? Listen, I don't think he will. Cobham, we know that he's Chelsea through and through. But do you think about it in terms of playing and how much he's played and how much availability we get from him and then how much we can actually still demand for him as a player? Would it hurt us that much losing him? I don't know. All I know is Gusto's here and he's doing everything he needs to stay in his team, and he's performing at a high standard. And he was so good yesterday. Even in the first half when we were playing shit up and down the pitch, he was showing Chilwell how to play as a fullback. He was showing Chilwell how to play as a fullback, up and down the pitch, tackling, linking play, crossing's getting better. By the way, his crossing's getting much better. I remember at the beginning of the season, I was a bit like, oh, his crossing's crap. But now he's starting to pick up on his crossing ability as well. And listen, if we can keep a fit Reece James and a fit Malo Gusto, and they stay fit all the way throughout the season, then you've got yourself the 2 best right backs in the league. Let's be serious. We would have the 2 best right backs in the league, hands down. Name me another club that has better right backs than Chelsea once they're fully fit and ready to go. I don't think we do. I think we do. I think we've done really well there in the signing of him. I really, really think we've done really well in the signing of him as well. But we're gonna do a play rating. We've got the panel to come in as well at some point if they get to come in. I'm waiting for them to pop in actually. If Palmer is our signing of the season, then Gusto is definitely the second. So far. Yeah, Palmer will be just because of his impact in the forward line, something that we've actually lacked for the last, couple of seasons. So I understand that. But when you talk about impact in a position of quality, like where Reece James is playing, and I talk about the levels there when he is fit, this guy's covered it. He's literally covered it. And he's just very good, man. He's just very, very good. It was them 2 that I wanted the most when we spoke about him and Enzo. They were the 2 ones that I was like, we have to get. We need. Like, this is the guy. These are the people we need in these positions at our football club. So far, I'm happy with my decisions. Couch, what are you saying?
Yo, Reggie, what are you saying, man? Everything good?
Yeah, I'm all good, bro. I'm all good, man. I'm all good. It's it was a weird one yesterday. It was a weird game yesterday, to be quite honest. Yeah.
Honestly,
But
I
before we get into
I had to go pick up my kid at about the 85th minute mark, 1-1.
Yeah.
And obviously I turned off the notifications because I just wanted to come back and watch it. And I sneaked on my phone and I saw it was 3-1. I was like, how the fuck did that happen? What went on?
Yeah.
Because it just looked to me at that point, this is going to finish draw. We weren't really doing anything. We weren't creating anything. There was no real intent. Of course, we had the same sort of like you said, we still are attacking the boxes with 5s, 4s, and 5s and whatnot. That's consistent. That's been consistent for quite some time now, but it just wasn't really, we weren't really finding the angles to really hurt them. And, what can you say? We finally found a breakthrough. Great goal by Gallagher. And then Enzo with the icing on the cake. To my surprise, you must say, because I was shocked when I left my house at 1-1 and then come back to see 3-1. That was just shocking to me. So, yeah, there's some things to talk about though. I was going to just do a vignette for my my match review and just speak on the role of Thiago Silva and why I feel we were so stagnant in that first half, couldn't move the ball. I just feel like it's mostly down to the fact that he's trusted to be a ball carrying center back for us. He's trusted on the ball for us. He's been in that position for a long enough time. But with the way the team moves right now, the pace we want to play at, the players who we want in possession of the ball, they want 1-2 touch football. And it seems to me whenever Thiago Silva gets on the ball, he just slows down the buildup. And
I don't think there was any tempo though yesterday, Couch. I'll be quite honest with you. That was the problem. I don't think there was any tempo in the first half.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of it had to do with Thiago Silva on the ball. The game against Aston Villa, bro, I'll show you again. I'll show you the clips again, okay? Where this guy's on the ball.
Then answer this one for me then. Answer this one for me because he's on the ball here right now, okay?
Yeah, but again, I can't look at this and say what's going on here. What?
Well, this is what it says. This is what it says. This is Chelsea's setup when Thiago Silva has the ball, and yet this fan base will run around blaming Thiago Silva for passing the ball too slowly.
Okay,
Thiago does often pass too slowly, but you cannot really believe that that's the main reason. He's saying he can't really believe
Yeah,
that's the
but
main
like this
issue.
is not the only this one little square here is not the only scenario that plays out in the game with Thiago Silva on the ball. Yeah, this is one instance where maybe, you know, the shape, it looks terrible and nobody's coming to collect. But overall, when I watched Thiago Silva play yesterday, I was just like, I was falling asleep watching this guy win the ball. 6-7 touches to then pass it to Disasi. 6-7 touches to then pass it to Caicedo. And when you watch the Aston Villa game, when the ball got into Caicedo, who was playing the Thiago Silva role in that game and wasn't today or yesterday, when he gets on the ball, it's quick decisions. Boom, 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 boom. One touch. Next guy, you know, plays it into Enzo Fernando. Enzo Fernandez swinging it out to the flanks. You know, we just didn't see any sort of like verve or energy when he had the ball. And it's not solely him. It's not solely him. I'm not saying that it's all down to him, but like honestly, like if we're gonna have Thiago Silva be the guy that's gonna be building up from the back, then I don't see the purpose of Caicedo anymore. Like I don't see how he plays an effective role in the team. Because for me, first phase buildup, it has to go to Caicedo there. He has to be the guy. Defer to him there, and then we'll see the ball move a lot quicker. That's how I see it.
I do again think that we were set up in a place where I don't like it, where and there was many pictures of yesterday, especially the first half. I'm talking more about the first half. Caicedo dropping into that pocket between the two centre backs, receiving. But when it comes to playing the ball forward, the movement, and I said earlier on, my issue with the first half was the forward line. Big issue was the forward line with all three of them, because none of them were making runs behind. But Palmer's non-existent when he plays a false nine. By the way, I don't like it whatsoever.
Yeah,
he ends up dropping into the Gallagher spot, which means he's now in the Gallagher's hole, which then you don't want because they're both in each other's holes. And I watched it so many times yesterday in the first half where they're coming in the same pockets, but we don't need that at that moment in time. We need someone to, you know what I mean, like to stretch them, go the other way, and it just didn't help the whole chemistry yesterday. Just was the first half. It was just not working. You could tell it was not working. Noni had a very poor game. He wasn't doing what he was doing in the Villa game. He was struggling as well, especially with the ball, bad decision making and stuff, which was a shame because I like Noni when he's on it. And, you know, the second half changed because, all right, then Nkunku comes on, he plays Jackson and Nkunku closer. They're more of a threat going forward. But Cole Palmer then occupied the space off the right where he was more effective because he could come deeper, but he was carrying the ball better than Noni was.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
and you know what's interesting about that? Absolutely, 100%. That's exactly what it was. And what's interesting there is, I think we have a lot of people that in the attack are better running at defenses rather than like coming with their back to goal. Because every time like Palmer came near in the first half, he was just basically recycling possession. He wasn't able to get on the half turn and get at the defense. So for me, we have to find ways, and our best players basically play better with, you know, running at goal. So we have to find a way to, you know, when we're playing against low block defenses and we're getting into those like half spaces and whatnot in between the lines, we have to find ways to orchestrate attacking moves that get these guys on the ball facing goal. You know what I mean? Like small 1-2 quick passes and whatnot to get them into those areas where they're running at goal.
Yeah, the third goal was a good example.
Well, I mean, that was like a jailbreak though. Like I felt like we got the tail. I'm talking about like when it's a low block and like they're being really stingy. You know, we have to use a little bit more of our, you know, sort of like trust our attacking players to make the right decisions in tight spaces a little bit more, rather than trying to like have them back to goal and recycling possession. It's just not going to work. And that was a fixture in the first half.
I saw a lot of people annoyed with Enzo Fernandez in the first half and the midfield. And I said, look, was he releasing the ball too quickly and maybe trying to like get it going? But I think Enzo yesterday, he lost the ball and the first half and whatever, but a lot of him doing that, and he done a lot of that yesterday, possible. All right, it didn't reach where he wanted it, but that ball for me was explaining what he wanted the forwards to do most of the time, or Chilwell, who was meant to be running or overlapping around the left, which he wasn't doing. He was playing them balls. Yeah. All right, it wasn't going to him, but he was playing them thinking too far ahead, maybe, and releasing the ball a bit too quickly, which is fine. Maybe he needs to slow down on that. But it was because he wanted us to get, moving up the pitch
Yeah,
quicker.
get on his wavelength. Get on
Slow.
his wavelength, essentially. Like,
Yeah, everyone was just so slow.
These are where the openings are. You guys have to recognize where these openings are and take advantage of them, right? Like, this is how I see it. And if he's going to be the orchestrator from deep and whatnot, he's going to be the one that's kind of like dictating where our attacking moves are. Then the guys have to be switched on. But he didn't have a great game. Like, let's just be real. Like, he was good in the second half, but like he wasn't very good in possession in the first half. Like, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that like we're just playing at two different tempos, just two different tempos the entire game. Where Thiago Silva's on the ball and he's just like dwelling. Like, guys want to play faster now. Like, and I don't think that when you have a guy that's slowing down the movement of the attack or just the buildup, it's not going to be helpful for guys that. Like, I don't know if I used to play with guys, and like I'm a guy that I like to move the ball quickly. I played in the midfield and I played in attacking positions. And for me, when you're playing with guys that like to dwell on the ball, it just takes me out of the game. I can't get into the game, because I would like 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, right? And when you're not getting the touches like that, you just don't have any real influence in the game. And like I feel like we have more of a team now that want the ball. They want to have that 1 and 2 touches. When you have guys that taking 6, 7 touches in the back line and then releasing it to the most obvious pass next to him, it just slows the energy and the verve of the team.
I think equally with the issue with the first half couch yesterday for me, and I've seen it many times at the bridge when we've played against low block, is that we then start relying on our centre backs to become the creators because they come to the halfway line and we're now asking them to play these cutting balls and balls over the top or balls, into the striker or whatever. And I'll be quite honest with you, I don't like it. I just don't like it when we're relying on them to do that. We shouldn't be relying on them for coming up to the all right.
When was the last time Thiago Silva played like a killer ball into like our attackers?
No,
like, when was the last time you saw anything like that?
It's not even just about Thiago Silva. It's just about in general asking them to become the playmakers because they're on the halfway line because the opposition's so deep. I don't want that, but I want my midfielders like Enzo and that picking the balls up in them positions and then finding these passes and then moving up the pitch better. I just don't think we benefit from it. I think that's where all the slowness comes because you're all cramped at one point, and it's like, oh, like, do you get what I mean? Like it's like the midfield.
I still think it's down to Thiago Silva because he was trusted in that role to be that guy for us for so long. He's not really looking to relinquish that sort of like role in the squad to somebody like Caicedo. That's kind of what I'm seeing right now because the game before against Aston Villa, every time we were building up from the back, Badiashile and Disasi basically looked for Caicedo every time. Caicedo got on the ball quickly, then shifted it out to Enzo. Yeah, it's just like when you have like Thiago Silva just like taking that responsibility, and he's not really working with the natural rhythm of the squad. It just throws the whole dynamic off, man. Like that was something I really noticed.
The first goal against Palace yesterday started from Caicedo playing a cutting ball through to Palmer. He received it and then straight cut out two players in the midfield of Palace, and Palmer was running through at the right. And that's the forward thinking of and the ability of the player being able to find and execute them passes, right? Which is what we're referring to. You want this is what I'm going on about when the defense goes to the midfield point. I don't like it because the midfielders are the ones that have this, that are able to find them cutting passes and playing through and get us on the way and stuff. Not always about defenders being able to do that. I don't see Van Dijk doing that for Liverpool, coming to midfield and like cutting balls through the middle. Like, you might knock a 20-yard long ball from left to right. I've seen him do stuff like that, but he doesn't come in the middle of the midfield and start going, cutting balls from the middle of the blimmin' midfield and like fighting. To get what I mean?
But but the difference is, I think, with that is, remember we played 3 at the back pretty much the entire season, right? Whether or not you want to acknowledge that, it's true. Like Thiago Silva, Disasi, and Chilwell as a left back, center back, whatever. Like we played 3 at the back. And in that role, Thiago Silva takes the central role, right? He becomes the central sort of like ball playing defender. And yesterday, the problem that I had was that like his role was, now that we're playing with a 4 at the back, his role now is just get the ball into Caicedo. And he just kept on coming forward and playing off the left and trying to be the dictator of the first phase. And I was like, you don't need to do that anymore. You don't need to do that anymore. Get the ball to Caicedo, and I guarantee you the shape would come together. But he was just basically occupying the same space, and it was awful. awful. And he's not making the right decisions, to be honest. Like when you want him to like just service the ball into the second line, the second wave of the attacking, he just doesn't do it. He's not taking any chances in those positions, because rightfully so, he can be caught out and then we're countered and whatnot. So he's really safe because he's that last line. But at the same time, what we need when we're playing against defenses like that is we need somebody that's going to play those breaking line passes to get into our most gifted ball carriers. And he just wasn't doing that yesterday at all.
Yeah, I hear you. I definitely hear you. We're going to talk about individual players in a bit. I want to go to forward quickly and welcome him in, and also talk about the game. Obviously, you've heard a lot from Couch and myself forward on the game yesterday. I want to know what your thoughts and feelings were overall structurally and how we played in both halves, mate, as well.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me again. Big up everybody here, Couch, of course, as well. Everybody in the chat, which we're getting our likes, and also just dropping your comments as well on what you think. But yeah, man, like, I'll start with the positives, right? Which is that we obviously got 3 points, scored 3 goals, which was always good. And G-Dog, he got 2 goals, 3 goals in a week. One of my biggest criticisms of him and the team in general is that we don't ever look like a team that's going to win games late. Again, thinking back to the rest of the season, like I feel like there's only been maybe 4 times that we've gotten results late in games. 2 of them were one was against Newcastle, where I thought it was lucky. That was in the cup, right? One cross that went in, Mudryk pounces on Trippier's mistake. Cool. Then there was the Palace game at home, which again was a mistake from their part. They gave away a silly penalty that they didn't need to on Noni. Obviously, Noni puts it away. Good on him. Obviously, the Man City game where Broya chops Diaz in the box, he scored a penalty. That game we were obviously great. So listen, fair play to the boys on that one. And there's one other one that slipped my mind now. But again, it's something that's rare for us as a team. You don't score late goals. And even to Couch's point earlier that he left the game at 80th minute, and he didn't have that feeling that we were gonna get a late goal. And that's been one of my biggest issues with the team, is that we don't ever look like a team that's gonna score late goals. And it wasn't really the case yesterday that it looked like it was gonna be the case, but we made it happen, which is always good. So big up Palmer obviously for the assist, 2 assists late in the game, and obviously Gallagher's finish was composed. Both finishes were really good. And obviously Enzo then to ice the game was a great finish as well. So that was good. Good that we were able to change a result run after a poor first half. But I mean, that's for me where the positives kind of stopped, to be honest. Like, ultimately, what we saw was a reflection of the season. Slow, tepid football against a poor team with so many injuries, playing a low block for the most part against us, and we didn't know how to break it down. And this is why, again, going into this fixture run, I was like, okay, cool. No, sorry, going into the Liverpool game, or should I say the first Aston Villa game at home, we were coming off a pretty good run. There were all these stats flying about it. Oh, we were like top of the league if it started in December and all of this stuff. I'm like, cool. The form's looking relatively good, although we were playing the likes of your Prestons, Middlesbrough twice, and all these other dead teams, right? Cool. Let's see how we're looking at slightly better opposition. And obviously, we draw against Villa. Fair enough, we get through in the cup, which is cool. But we get battered by Liverpool, battered by Wolves. We then we rebound against Villa in a very good performance, really our best of the season, which is great. But how do we look against Crystal Palace, against a low block? Poch doesn't change the system really. He goes with pretty much the same team. It's just Silva coming in for Badia Show. And the performance is terrible and predictably terrible because we're playing our best creator as a false 9. We haven't got any creative like player in the number 10 position because it's Gallagher that's operating there, who we know was not a creative player. Our wingers were relatively poor first half. And like you guys have been saying, the build-up was tepid. I mean, after a relatively decent first 10 minutes where we at least progress it well, and it's actually, like you guys are talking about, it's actually Caicedo that's leading our build-up. And Silva was more playing like a left centre back in that build-up and just kind of playing it relatively quick. After that, it slows down. Like we're so slow in our build-up after that. And we know that we're not great against low blocks anyway. So once you slow up our build-up, we're just not going to be penetrating the defence enough. So yeah, man, I'm not happy. But I've not been happy all season, so I'm used to the feeling. But it's horrible. And again, I'm one of these people who are willing to give Poch more time, not all the time in the world, because I want him gone in the summer personally, from what I'm seeing. But I didn't really see enough. I'm not seeing enough of him like getting more out of these players. Like, so I'll let you come in here. What are you saying, bro?
I'll ask you this: did you watch the first half? Did you even get to go through the first half? Did you see it?
So I obviously came in second half, and I watched back bits of the first half last night.
So I want to ask you this: what is it that you feel he's not doing when you watch the first half and you watch the second half? Because they were different in ways. All right, we were not creating still that much in the second half, but we were different because we looked more flow. But what is it that you're seeing that he's just not doing, especially like from the first half point of view? It's still an
Pochettino.
issue. Yeah.
Well, he's not getting the best out of our best players, and like I look at Palmer, like you I don't think there was much difference with the second half. I'll be honest. I feel like we were still quite pedestrian. We didn't create many clear-cut chances. You brought in Nkunku thinking, okay, that's like our killer, right? Like, but we didn't get him into the game. He hardly had any touches. He hardly had a sniff. For me, people will say, oh, like we played a bit more between the lines. There's more of like an emphasis getting players between the lines. But honestly, the biggest difference to me was just that we had Palmer in a position where he can get the ball a bit more, and that was just it. And I don't think Palmer had the greatest game. The times where he gave a few sloppy balls away, he could have done more at times cutting in, but he ends up with 2 assists, and that's because he's in a position to try and create goals, and that's just it. The players, I wouldn't say they just bailed out Poch, but they kind of did, and I'm not even impressed by individuals that much. I'm not impressed by Gallagher. Yeah, you scored the 2 goals, great, cool, but what did you do in your number 10 role? You didn't do much for me. And against a low block, what do I expect from you to do? I don't expect you to do much. And again, that's why you have to look at the manager, because how many times are we going to see these patterns over a season? Oh, cool, this team worked against Aston Villa. We know that we match up quite well against Aston Villa. All 3 games we played against them, we could have won all of them quite comfortably. But we didn't finish our chances in the first 2 at least, right? But we know Palace play completely different to Aston Villa. This is a team without their best players who will just sit and park a bus and make it ugly. And what did we do? We didn't adjust to them until we were 1-0 down at half time. And then, and the thing is, would Poch have changed it at half time if we weren't 1-0 down? He wouldn't have. So again, I'm seeing the same mistakes over the season, which again just tells me that the manager is reactive rather than being proactive. He's looking for he's looking for cures for remedies and mistakes in the team, rather than looking for things to preempt those the diseases in the team. Because again, this team doesn't create a lot of chances against low blocks, and we've seen it throughout the season. Is he trying to bring on Carney to start a game? Is he starting Palmer in the 10? Is he trying to do anything in terms of like the system and try and change it like proactively to make us create more? No, I'm not seeing any of these things. So I wasn't surprised by how poor we were. Again, I put it in the chat that listen, if you're confident in this team, like again, I'll put it to everybody obviously listening, right? Because everybody listening is obviously in the chat. I said to everybody, right, like if you were given a guaranteed 5k or a chance at winning 8k, but Chelsea have to win this game against Palace, what one would you take? And obviously, Callie took the 8k, and I'm like, cool, you can take the 8k. I'm not saying that's a bad choice, but I wouldn't bet my life or wish away a guaranteed 5k on this team beating Palace. And we saw it for 88 minutes, or whenever we scored the goal. I think the 91st minute actually, we didn't look like winning that game against a shit Palace team. So. And
you know what's frustrating as well, Ford? Yeah, when you look at this team, you shouldn't be feeling like that, but you're feeling like that because of who's managing and leading the team. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why you're feeling like that. You know. So, bro, I can't lie. I can't lie to you. Like for me, first of all, obviously, big up the chat, big up Couch, big up.
Let us know what your thoughts are on the game. Yeah, like just give us your overalls on the. We're going to talk about players specifically in a bit. But let's just
I think for me, this was definitely a game of 2 halves, and it was very clear to me that it was definitely a game of 2 halves. You guys know how I feel about Palmer playing in that 9. I think it just takes away, it mutes him. It basically has him on mute because he can't get a hold of the ball. When he tries to get hold of the ball, it means that someone else is taking up that position, which usually tends to be Gallagher, which when you're looking at it, even on the eye, it just doesn't look right. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't look balanced up there. It's not good. It's not good to keep playing Palmer as a 9. Like we've said already, it works against certain opposition, like against Arsenal, when they're trying to build from the back, was able to box in their midfield. Same thing against Aston Villa as well, off the ball, was in that 4-4-2, was able to stop them from building. But again, like Ford has already said, when you're playing a team like a Palace that don't want to come out and play like that, it's pointless. It's pretty much redundant. You don't need to play a false 9, right?
Yeah,
so,
you're not, and the reason for that is just because you don't have a spearhead for the attack anymore. You basically are just having too many guys in the midfield, and that they're not even getting on the ball. The times that like Cole Palmer got on the ball in the first half, his back's to goal, and he's just basically recycling possession.
And then people will say, "Oh, Palmer was shit yesterday," and this, that. I don't think it was bad because in the second half he picked it up. It was a decent performance, but you have to look at how the manager's setting him up. He's putting him in positions where he's not that comfortable. As much as I rate him, he's not a 9. Do you know what I'm saying? He can't do it all, and neither can Nkunku. We saw that in the second half when Nkunku was played up top for a little bit as well. He's not a striker for me. He's definitely not a striker. But in that first half, the wingers weren't doing much. Madueke, probably his worst performance in the Chelsea top. I think that performance was even worse than the one against Brentford. Because this time round, he had Gusto behind him. Against Brentford, he had Disasi behind him. So I had a little bit of an excuse for him there. But this game, he had Gusto behind him, and he was just laxy-daisy, man. It kind of looked like he looked at Palace's team and thought, oh yeah, this is going to be a kick in the park. But you can't look at it like that because these are still professional footballers. You got to do your job. Do you know what I mean? Jackson on the left-hand side, very quiet, but I'm not surprised. When you've got Ben Chilwell on the left-hand side, no one trusts him on the ball, bro. And I saw the stat at half-time, he had the least amount of combinations with anyone in the team. That goes to show that people aren't trusting this guy on the ball. Everything was going on the right-hand side because Chilwell in build-up is just not that guy. He's gonna lose the ball. Do you know what I mean? He's gonna lose it, right? And in the midfield, you know, Caicedo was giving the ball away here and there. Enzo was the only one really that was trying to make things happen. Gallagher, he kept hiding behind players as always, which is why for me, Carney should have started in that 10 or Palmer in that 10 or again Nkunku in that 10. We know Gallagher isn't a flary creative midfielder, right? But he week after week keeps getting played in the role. 10. Yeah, he's an 8. That's basically what he is, right? We had this conversation. He's a defensive 10. That is art. That is art, man. That is art. Defensive 10. Oh my gosh. But yeah, week after week, we have to suffer with watching him struggle in that role, right? Where he doesn't feel comfortable enough to turn when he's being pressed. I've said to you guys 1,001 times, it's easier to watch when you see these guys in person, like I said, when you're behind the goal, Gem. And the amount of times I look at this guy and I'm thinking, bro, you've got time to turn. He doesn't do it because he doesn't trust his ability, right? That's why for me, he's a squad player and there's better players that can play in that position. Again, we'll get into the second half in a sec, but the first half was a shit show. And, you know, Thiago Silva, as always, building up so slow from the back. But in the second half, I've got a big up Poch for the changes, man. Putting Palmer on the right, straight away the dynamic change, you know, playing Jackson up top and Nkunku on the left. Obviously, Jackson's not a striker. I think it's very clear to see that we need a striker in this team to completely change the dynamic even more. But you could see that Palmer was getting on the ball a little bit more and trying to make things happen. I would say that we did look like we was going to score more than the first half. But what was lacking in that second half was the final bit of quality, whether that was a pass, whether that was getting a shot on goal. I don't know if you guys can remember when Palmer slipped it through to Sterling. And the guy could have just banged it straight away.
Yeah, on his left foot.
On his left foot. And he's dilly-dallying on it. So as much as we weren't peppering their goal, we were getting ourselves in good positions to make something happen. But again, Palmer was, you know, mishitting it, or this guy just doesn't pick out the right decision. The decision-making was poor, right? But for me, we kept going. We showed a little bit of resilience in the game to end up scoring when we did, because we scored in the 90th minute. We just kept going. We kept pushing. And if you look at the XG as well, in the second half, Palace barely did anything, bro. I think it was like 0.1 something for Palace. It was like 1.8 for us. Obviously, that would change because of the goals. But ultimately, we were looking more, you know, that was attacking with real attacking intent in that game, you know? So it was a decent performance. It wasn't I wouldn't say it was a poor performance overall. I'd say it was decent because in the second half, we did enough to beat them. But what's concerning is that we should have been convincing over 90 minutes against this Palace side. That is what's concerning.
But that for me is why it is poor and why that performance isn't going to be enough against Man City on the weekend. Hell no. They're going to be enough against Liverpool in a cup final. Hell no.
Yeah. In isolation,
Newcastle more likely probably not either.
In isolation, to be fair, hold on, Coach.
It's going to jump on that. Even in our best days, we're probably not going to have enough for Man City anyway. So let's just take it in. Yeah. Don't take it out of context there.
Yeah, I'm looking. You guys know I want Poch.
Big Man City.
You guys know I want Poch out. And yesterday I was cussing. I was saying, listen, get this. If we don't even get 3 points, get this man out of there, because it's a disgrace that will perform like that against Palace, right? And we've seen it against teams like United. We should have never got battered the way we did. Newcastle, teams like that. Do you know what I mean? But looking at the game in isolation yesterday, I've got to say in that second half, it was a decent performance. I'm not saying it was a good performance. It was just decent enough to get the job done. But again, it's the overarching point is, like I said, I agree with you, Forward. It's concerning that we played the way we did. And again, he's very reactionary. Very, very reactionary. We constantly keep chasing games, bro. Constantly keep chasing games. And why is it that when he's gone to things that when he's gone to a system and moved people around into positions where we would play them, oh look, straight away we play better. But he keeps persisting with things that don't work on his side of things. Do you know what I mean? That's my problem with Poch. He persists with the same thing that doesn't work, and then he goes to something which does, and then he goes away from it, right? But one thing that I will say as well, bro, is that listen, as much as again we've got a young team and we should have more experience, the reality of the situation is majority of this team are young. We've got the youngest team in the league right now, and what I've been saying all season is this manager needs to be brave, right? Yesterday, Colwell could have started the game. Let's be real. Levi could have started the game. He had a knock or whatever it was. Obviously, I'm not behind. I'm not in the medical team. I don't know if they signed them off to actually start the game. But you can see straight away that when he came on the pitch, Gem, we looked a lot quicker from the back. You know what I mean? Some of his passes, 100%. I'm seeing him just punching it into the midfield straight away. He's not dilly-dallying. And look, he's 21 years old. Do you know what I mean? I'm seeing Ben Chilwell. You guys have seen the video floating about today. I'm watching it yesterday. Ben Chilwell gets the ball floated to him. All it is a little play into the
little
space.
Cushion pass.
Little cushion pass. He kicks it off. It goes to Gusto on the other side. 20 years old. He's able to just cushion it into the player, right? Yep. So people need to stop with this. Oh, they're young players. We need to hold their hand. No. We've signed these guys. Make use of them and be brave. Be brave, bro. Because end of the day, Chilwell's not going to be here forever. We need to move on. And these are the cards he's been dealt with. This is the problem that I've had with the guy. He's acting as if we've got all these experienced players that are, injured at the moment. Our team is young. Our team is young. That's the reality of it. People keep trying to run away from it. They're young. But if you use them properly and you trust them, they will play better, bro. That's the fact.
I mean, it's just managing the expectations, though, right? Like, that's what it is. It's not about like this team being young and not like regardless of who's playing, it's going to be a young team, right? It's going to be a young team regardless. What we have to manage is the expectations for this young team. And yeah, yesterday wasn't a great game. It was not a great game. We found a way to win. And that doesn't take from the fact that like you need experience on the pitch. I don't understand why that's become like this taboo thing. Like, oh yeah, well, no, you don't need experience. It's just the right experience, right? We don't have a mix of that. We don't have a mix of right experience, is what I'm saying.
We agree with that.
That's like 27, 28, 29 that is in the
ascendancy. You know that
but Couch, you're missing the point. Go on, Jem.
You do know the average age that won a trophy under Mourinho was 25.
25, yeah.
Couch, you're missing. You're missing the point. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. We do need more experience in this team, but the reality of the situation right now is that we don't have all that experience in the team. So we need to make sure that we maximize the strengths of these guys and use them best. So I don't know why people. No, because it sounds like you are.
No, I just think that like it's a bit of a misnomer when you're talking about whether or not we have a young team and whether or not it doesn't mean we still need experience, right? Like regardless of what it is. I know what you're saying. You're saying if it's not the right experience, then why play it? Just go with the young guys. And I don't necessarily disagree with that because to be honest with you, I don't think that Thiago Silva has a role in this squad anymore. Unless we have injuries, he shouldn't be playing week in, week out. I really do believe that. And, Ben Chilwell, Ben Chilwell's basically the only left back we have. Like, what else is going to play?
We had one. He's doing very well in Germany right now, but the manager
exactly. We had one right there.
There we go. Okay.
But listen, I hear what everybody's saying, right? Like, I agree. Obviously, experience is obviously needed to elevate the level of the squad. Like, I'm sure we'd be doing better if we just had more experienced versions of these players, no doubt. But you don't need experience to play more convincingly against Palace. Again, we would have been 12th if we had lost this game or something like that, something crazy like that against, for me, a championship side. Because without Eze, Elise, and a couple of other injuries, including Mark Gahey, that's a championship side we played yesterday that we struggled to beat over 90 minutes. We struggled to beat them. So again, you can talk about age, you talk about all these things, and sure, obviously these things affect why we're not in the top 4 battle. I get that, but we still have enough resources within this squad, which is more fit now than it was 2 months ago. We will have more resources now to play much better football. And again, when I'm seeing the manager make decisions like having Gallagher in the 10, Palmer false 9, not changing things, leaving things late and all of these other things, like, I'm sorry, but it's just not good enough. And again, when I bring up the Man City game, Arsenal, Liverpool final, and all these things, not to say that, we can't get a result on our best day against these. Sure, we can, maybe. But I'm saying that the level that we've shown over the last 4 or 5 weeks isn't enough for me to go into that run of games and say we're going to do all right. No, we're going to hold some pammings. We're going to hold some pammings playing how we're playing. So if Poch can get more out of these players, cool. I'm willing to see it. But of the evidence of what we've seen over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 games, I'm sorry, but we're going to be in for a very rough February and March, bro. Like, we just got to be real with it.
Yeah, you're probably right. And we're going to have to stomach it. But what I was saying before and what I think you were kind of alluding to, this whole December run and whatnot, it wasn't because I thought we were playing well. It was because I thought we were getting results. And as a result, as we were getting the results, you expect the confidence to start growing. You expect guys to start finding their form a little bit more.
Yes.
We did see spells of that because everyone was like, "Oh man, wait till you get to Fulham, this, that, the other. Oh, Fulham's gonna, look how they play, that." And we smacked them. There was no questions about that. Luton, that's not going to be an easy game. Luton are really, really difficult. Look what they're doing to some teams right now, and we smacked them, right? So, regardless, I agree. Like, I wouldn't say it was a false dawn, but we didn't capitalize on the momentum that was carried over in December from getting those results in a jammy way, and that to me was an opportunity there to just like start putting together some wins and then start looking for some semblance of form. And again, I'm sure there's a multitude of reasons as to why we haven't. I'm not going to get into any of those right now, but the bottom line is, this is another opportunity here where Chelsea are getting some jammy wins. Obviously, the Aston Villa win was, I thought we dominated both legs, to be honest. Like I thought we dominated the first leg and we dominated the second leg. We just scored more goals the second time.
I think he's bottled it tactically a couple of times personally.
I think where you say about capitalizing, you make a few good points there, Couch. Yeah, but where you say that we didn't capitalize on the results that we got, the reason why, bro, is because those results were papering over the performances, bro. I was literally saying more negative things.
That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. We were getting results, and as a result of that, you're hoping that they would start to find form because they're growing in confidence.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is confidence ain't enough if your team's not being set up correctly, bro. It's not like the team's being set up. You still need to be set up correctly as a bare minimum, And like I said, these players, they're good players, but if you're not going to use them correctly, they're not going to play well.
But wait, let me comment on that though, because I agree with what you're saying, but like Couch hit the nail on the head though. Like the confidence that we should have built up from getting results from like the high fives, yes, we won, like good day, and then we get back to the training ground and it's like a good feeling in the camp. That should have parlayed into better performances individually, because we're gonna obviously get into the player ratings, but like again, I don't want to like bury the. I wanted to bury the lead a little bit here. Noni Madueke, right? Like again, wow. I like the brother. He's originally Nigerian, so I've got more time for him than most. But I'm sorry, like the performance yesterday was shit. It was shit. And like again, we're talking about confidence, right? Like he's been given a few games. He's not like, again, I think Dom will probably mention, he's not had enough runs of games in a row and all of these things. But cool. I'm not making excuses. Okay, good. I'm glad you said
shit yesterday.
I'm glad you said that, because listen, we're in a relatively decent form. Why is your performance not better? Like you can talk about tactics and all these things, but he had Gusto overlapping him and giving him decent support in the attack. But yeah, his performance was not good. Gallagher, again, obviously he's got the 2 goals. I'm not gonna crap on him and all of that, but the performance wasn't great. Like Jackson, okay, he didn't have much support, to be fair, at all. So right, it's a bit different. Chilwell, why are you playing so dead, bro? Why are you playing so dead?
Because he is dead.
So again, but this is the point, right? So like, okay, maybe with him I understand because he's just actually shit, right? But with Noni, with people who have high hopes of players like this, I'm sorry, but it's not enough. Like, it's clearly not enough that they had a confidence boost from these run of decent results. It wasn't enough because these players ultimately aren't good. A lot of these guys aren't good enough. Like only when they work at Chelsea Football Club. Okay. I'm saying he's not good enough, and we're saying that for a while. He's good enough to have that decent moment.
But I'll say this though. When I say this,
he's not overall good enough.
We're obviously talking about, and maybe this is just the nuanced conversation that we can't have, because it's very hard to like quantify this. But these guys are young players. Like consistency from Noni Madueke.
Facts.
You're not going to get that now, right? So, but that's true. Don, you say facts, but that's true right across the board, like with everyone, right? You know, like these are.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Because we're getting consistency from Cole Palmer, and Cole Palmer's a level above.
Yeah, but what was one of the main things that I said though? Forward when we signed him, I said he's polished for a 21-year-old, bro. Like he plays beyond his years. Not every 21-year-old is gonna be like a Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer is an exception to the rule. You know, you rarely ever get guys that good. Well, I mean, Madueke was obviously not at the same level as Palmer. Palmer's a different level to Madueke.
He's not been playing consistently since he's come back in. He's been in.
Yeah, but you also have to earn that consistency. Palmer wouldn't have been played consistently if he didn't show straight away in that Brighton game. Where he got 2 assists for Jackson. And again, this point obviously this isn't just the cable on Madueke. I mean, it kind of comes down to the board, because again, you sign all these youngsters and a lot of them aren't ready. You could have signed youngsters who were a bit more ready, who had at least 50, 60, 70 games of experience in top league, the likes of Madueke did not have, the likes of Modric did not have, the likes of even Jackson did not have. Palmer didn't have it, but Palmer's an exceptional talent, so it's different. But you could have gone maybe the likes of a Kudos, even guys like Anthony Gordon, guys who are just more proven. Not that I wanted a Gordon, for example, but there are guys who are more proven who would have done a better job. And now we're having to hope that Madueke can give us a bit of good form because we won a couple of games in a row. Well, no, we didn't do that. He was shit against Palace, a championship team. So
yeah, yesterday, do you know what it is? Yesterday,
it is what it is, man.
The thing is, Madueke, because even when he played against Palace, didn't he? Did he play against Palace? He started that game, I swear.
The first game.
I think, the first game when we played at the Bridge, because I can't remember.
He started and he scored the penalty. Yeah,
he did.
Sorry.
He came on. He came off the bench. That's it. Madueke, sorry. He came off the bench and he played well, bro. He helped us. Yeah, and he scored that penalty as well. Right. Yesterday, I'm looking at his mentality more than his ability, because we've seen the guy. We literally just saw the guy midweek. Yeah, probably have his best game in the Chelsea top against Aston Villa. On the ball, very tidy, beating, running down the wing, driving at guys. There was a time where he just ran past like 2-3 guys and that they're trying to tackle him. He's just running past him like they're not there. So we can clearly see that the guy has something to work with. But again, like Couch said, with these young players, sometimes they move a little bit like delinquents, bro.
No, they just switch off.
Bro. The guy yesterday was moving.
Black delinquents,
Bro, I'm telling you, bro. This guy, you see in school when you get sent to internal exclusion, bro. Internal exclusion. Yesterday, he's getting sent to IU, internal exclusion unit. Yeah.
By the way, he put Caicedo under the bus yesterday.
Yes, he did. He did. Yesterday was very. Yesterday, I'm looking at his mentality more than anything. He looked like it was just like a kickabout in the park. He didn't look.
But see, that's a great point. Sorry, I do want to comment on that because that's a great point, right? Because I was thinking about this, like the Aston Villa game, the guys look amped, and they probably knew that it may not be put out if he loses, but like they knew there's a lot of pressure on him. We also saw that obviously there's pressure on Enzo with like all the reports coming out he wants to leave, which obviously he knows is fake, but like you can see that he was amped, and obviously we saw that in the celebration. All the players were amped for the game, but yet Palace, we didn't keep that same intensity. There wasn't that same tenacity until we were 1-0 down. And even though the quality was sporadic in moments, but it was enough to win the game. But like, I look at the coach, like the coach has to be able to get that. This is do or die right now. This game, every single game. I'm sorry, we shouldn't just have to wait for when it's like, oh, the manager might get sacked or there's pressure on him, or maybe the cup final we're going to try and rise it. No, we need to rise it every single game, and that's also on the manager to get that mentality out of these boys.
100%.
Yeah, and also to get like everything you're saying right now. As much as it is the manager's responsibility, it's about experience, right? Like you have to have guys on the pitch that know what it takes to win, that focus on the details to win games, the attitude to win games, and we just don't have that. We just don't have that. Our captain on the pitch yesterday was the guy that you trusted the least. And I know you can have like a captain that that it can just like rally the troops just through his experience and whatnot. But he just wasn't that yesterday, So yeah, we just don't have experience. It's simple and plain.
So,
I'm sorry, chat. I hate to break it to you. You guys are gonna have to wait and be patient, but you don't have the experience.
Nah, though. I don't think experience. You could do that to override a bad system. I don't care how much experience you have. When you have a bad system and a bad coaching, it's going to be hard to override it. And if you do have experience, these guys are going to kick off. When you have guys with egos and who've been there, done that, they're going to start questioning his tactics.
Just to add to that point as well, like we see in this modern era, like a lot of players are spoon-fed by their managers, and it makes up for the fact that they're either lacking experience or even just lacking quality, right? I feel like you actually need that, especially for this squad. You need a manager who's like spoon-feeding them all the information, like all the little intricacies of the game. This detail you need to be on point. This detail needs to be on point. And like he's bellowing from the touchline, like this needs to be done. Why did you not do this? Get in shape. All of these little things, and he's not doing that. And when he talked about it after the pamming by Wolves, right? And talks about how I'm the leader of the squad. Like I'm the leader, and I thought that stuck out to me because he was obviously talking a lot in that presser, right? And I'm thinking, okay, and obviously we did see the reaction from the Villa game, but does he look to me like the leader of the squad, Pochettino? No, he doesn't. He doesn't give me that energy. He gives me that kind of my big brother to them, cool, like he wants to be all of their boys.
I don't think he was saying that. I don't think that, but honestly, I don't think that he was saying that to say that he was he's the leader per se. I think he was saying that to take pressure off of the young squad. I don't know.
And I agree, because he's not showing that he's the leader in the way that I want him to be.
It comes from the manager, by the way. It always does.
Bro, this is what I said. This is what one of my biggest concerns at the beginning, because you know how he was playing Ben Chilwell left wing, and I was thinking, bro, this guy's trying to shoehorn this guy in there because maybe he's had a conversation with Levi to say, yo, you're going to get your game time now, because there was a whole thing that was going on this summer about him getting a new contract. He ended up signing a new contract after speaking with Poch, yeah? And in my head, I'm thinking, bro, is this guy just trying to be Mr. Nice Guy and giving everyone minutes? Because Jackson yesterday, this guy's he's on the bench. Why are you allowing him to run onto the pitch and celebrate with everyone? Get a yellow card. And now we're literally, bro, if he gets another yellow from missing 2 games, bro, do you think anyone can do that at Man City, bro? Do you think anyone can do that at Man City, bro?
Only one was from a challenge. Only one was from a challenge.
Crazy.
Do you think anyone, dare I say it, do you think anyone can even do that at Arsenal, bro, with Arteta? They're not doing that. They're not doing that. I remember
Poch came out in the season and talked about, oh, he needs. I'm going to have a talk with him. Has that talk worked? Clearly not,
bro. No, it hasn't.
Again, man management, spooky, man, spooky.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I ask you guys a question? Like, when you're quantifying this experience, are you just talking about age or like playing wise?
Like, I always talk about playing time, and like again, it's subjective, right? It's not just age, because you can be like kind of older and not have like great experience. Like Ruben Loftus-Cheek, when he was here at like 26, like he wasn't super experienced because he just had so many injuries. Whereas like you look at like a Dele Alli at a similar age, he already had like hella minutes, right? So he was experienced obviously before all the mental troubles that he had, right? So it's subjective. And again, you look at players that we could have got, let's say like who were at a relatively young age, they have experience compared to like guys who were just signing from these top 10, top 15 leagues in Europe, or youngsters from South America. They haven't got great experience.
I look at Madueke and Modric and be like, yeah, they're youths that don't have really experience. But I look at like Caicedo and Chilwell, even if Chilwell's playing like at Huddersfield, or Caicedo's 2 years in the Premier League now. Yeah, these guys kind of have experience in Enzo, but there may not be like the leaders y'all talking about, but that's a different subject. But I think what Couch is saying is right. We do need, like, I want like 25 proven experienced leaders in this team, like a striker, a defender, a leadership defender. But I feel like when we do that, we're kind of like taken away from holding the manager accountable as well. Like, I'm not saying...
Yeah, but you got to do that regardless, though. Like, no manager wants to work with a bunch of kids.
No
manager wants to work with a bunch of kids.
I feel like
I'm just going to say this. If you want to manage...
Hold on, let me just finish my point.
Go on. Yeah.
Like, when you say you tapering off expectations, of course, I'm not expecting these guys to win week out, and I know there's going to be inconsistencies. But it goes beyond that they're just young. You can't just say that they're just young. They're being set up to fail. Like, you know what I mean? You can't expect them to do that and be like, that's my problem with it. We can't, because that takes accountability off the person who's setting them up. You know what I mean? That just is like, oh, we're just young. Let's just,
You know, the irony is, the irony of it here is Poch has been almost treating these guys as if they're seasoned pros.
Yeah.
And he needs to wake up and realize that they're kids, right? And with kids, you need to build the easiest platform for them to succeed. So, as much as we need more experience, make use of what you've got. You know what I'm saying?
I'll just say quickly, right? I'm going to go to my next bit in a second. If we sounds very random. If we took Maddison out of Spurs and we put him in the 10, would we be a better team?
Madison,
yeah.
And took out who? Sorry.
If you took Maddison out of Spurs and you put him in Chelsea's number 10 position where Gallagher is, and he played behind Enzo and Caicedo, would we be better? Would we function better in this Poch system?
So much better. Like that's not negotiable. Of course, we'd be better. Bro. I think I don't know. 100% be better. And that's somebody that again, this board again. I mean, obviously, you guys can give your take, but for me, I feel like 100% we'd be better because this is a player that the board ruled out because he was too old, right? And all this nonsense. But I'm sorry, he's shown he's had experience, and obviously he's even gone up a level playing with better players. And again, creative wise, he's immense. Like he will drop deep and create. He can create in a final third. He's got a shot on him with either foot. Of course, defensively, you look at it. Maybe obviously Gallagher offers us better balance against certain teams, right? But you can accommodate Maddison for having somebody like a Maddison, right? Like Maddison levels us up creative wise. I don't see the argument against it, other than obviously maybe defensively. Yeah, you look at it, but. Again, that's against the likes of a Liverpool or Arsenal, City, cool. But for the rest of the league, of course, Maddison in a 10 offers way more than a Gallagher. Way more.
I can list a few others, but Morgan Gibbs White. You know what I'm saying?
Guys, it's not about what he offers. It's just whether or not what he's going to offer is going to make us better. Like we're still not scoring goals.
Would it make the system better?
Yeah, but Gallagher has 3 goals and they just come this week. Maddison would have given us like 10 plus.
better? That's my
Yeah,
question.
but
You think that
forward.
Madison scoring 10 plus goals?
If he stayed fit, of course, because he got injured, right? So that's different. But if he stayed fit for the season, yeah, he would have scored. He would have scored 10
What's his
plus.
best season ever? What's his best season ever, Madison? Just
He got
out
like
of
a lot.
curiosity.
I think it was less.
I'm sure he got 10
more
plus
than
in the
10.
season
got-
when they
Yeah.
won the cup. When they won the cup against
He got
us.
more than
I
like
swear,
10 points.
I swear the season before I swear that's that season when they
Nah,
got relegated.
but
They got 10 plus goals that season when they got relegated.
In my
That season.
opinion, forward.
Yeah, even when they got relegated.
Goals and 9
Forward.
assists.
Yeah, there we go.
In a relegation team.
I
don't know. I can't say
And he
for
was
sure,
injured.
but I don't
And he
know.
was injured as well. Part of that
I think
season as well.
to that point, like, of course, I wanted Madison. I was always the Madison is way better than Mount type of person, but I think he would paper over the cracks just like Palmer, like where he's thrown into the system and he might bail us in 1 or 2 moments, but the system is still failing. You know what I mean? We still like
chances missed.
Do we have like a strike, like the movement in front of him? Like, you know what I mean? The way we connect, I think he's a good player and he'll make better decisions from time to time. But I still feel like we'll be missing a lot due to the system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts. I hear you.
I think the system yesterday wasn't so much the issue, was more the personnel is what I would look at more than anything. Because I think the way we were set up, it was down to the personnel, man. Because you look at the individuals, Silva, Gallagher, and obviously Palmer in the 9 meant that we couldn't play as well as we did against Aston Villa. So I'm looking at the personnel more than anything. And yesterday,
the performances as well, because Madueke wasn't playing to his level. Jackson wasn't really getting involved enough in the team. You know, Enzo was releasing the balls too quick enough in the middle because he was trying to get us going, but we just wasn't at that tempo. It was just a bit of everything. But I want to ask you guys about this guy because I'm pretty sure it's me and Forward. I don't know if Forward can remember. We had before Gusto came. We had a show. Do you remember? We were talking about right backs. Who would be the best right back to come to Chelsea? And I think me and you were going for this guy completely.
Yep.
And you know, he's still very young. Obviously we know that there's still parts of his game that he needs to improve. But from what I've seen of him in terms of quality on the pitch, and I'm talking about from when we lost Reece James the years gone, and we had other people playing that position, the levels went like that, to now what we have now in Gusto, so that when Reece James is out, I don't even think about Reece James no more. I'm not joking. Now Gusto's in the team, I don't actually think about it because we've actually got a player that I think is holding the quality of that position. Yeah, he's had poor games at like Wolves and stuff, and I remember all them games, but I still think he's had better games than he has had poor. And I think the way that he plays in this system that we're playing at the moment as a fullback, he just suits it. And for me, he's one of the players that I look at now as like the ones that steps up in our team, that goes, right, like this is the level we need to be playing at, guys. Like this is what we need to be doing up and down the pitch, working hard, wins the ball.
I think he's so
good at reading the game. It's just, for me, it's the reading of the game, which impresses me. He's so young still. How old is he now? 20? Is he 21?
Bro, he's a ninja. He's 20, bro. He's a ninja. 20. He plays like a ninja, bro.
His reading of the game at his age is ridiculous. Like I watch him and I'm just like, he's very impressive. And like for me, I know Palmer's going to be the player of the season because of the goals and assists and everything he's done. He's second at the moment, very close. In my opinion.
You know he has 6 assists, Jam.
There you go, and his crossing got better, by the the way.
Exactly, Jem. Remember I said that last stream. His crossing's got a lot better from the start of the season. And remember, I don't know if you guys saw, like when we signed him and that you had a lot of Leon fans saying, defensively 1-on-1, the guy's not good. I was like, cool. I'll have a look in preseason and see what he's saying. I remember he locked up Mitoma. He locked up Isak. And that was people would say only preseason, but bro, I was looking at that thinking, yo. Oh, you were there, yeah? Okay. Yeah. I was like, yeah. I was looking at it, I was thinking, yeah, now this guy defensively doesn't look bad. But let me see, innit? Let me see what's going on. And bro, one-on-one, bro, the guy, you can't get past him. Going forward, you can't get the ball off of him. Crossing, he's got the whole package, man. All it is right now, it just needs to keep getting played and just developing. He's only going to get better.
Very balanced.
Don, he's the perfect example of like the young, inconsistent player, because he would do brilliant stuff and he's a good player, but then you have that one moment where I'm like, all right, yeah, I see the youth in you. You know what I mean? Where you're making that run decision or you're going to ground when it's not needed. You know what I mean? That comes with time and experience to make the right decision. Like, that's the perfect, like, if we make those signings, like, make sense to me. Because now you have somebody competent to. The only thing I'm worried about Gusto is his injuries. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Overplayed. He
Yeah, a little
came
bit.
off
And listen, that's
because he was tired. He actually flagged to come off because he was shattered. He'd gone up down the pitch so much. He was like, take
I
me
think
off.
maybe he felt something because again, it's not the first time he. I mean, if let's say he was playing through an injury, it wouldn't have been the first time because he did play through an injury at times during the Christmas period because he had to because there was no Reece James and we had no left back, so like he was our only fit fullback. Oh, and Matson, but you know Pochettino. But listen, again, I was big on Gusto when I heard about obviously us wanting to get him in. Obviously, we signed him on a pre-contract, and I watched a lot more of him even during that period, and he was quality. Like again, even his crossing stood out to me then. Like his crossing was good. So when it was poor at the start of the season, I was like, bro, you can do better. And we're seeing that better now. Like, again, quality player, man. Like, got great technical ability, great technical security, great recovery pace, which you haven't had at fullback for a little while. Like, James and Chilwell have a bit of pace, but not gusto pace. It's different with him. Different.
And who?
So, I love him, and he's quality. And again, like you see the inexperience at times. You're like, okay, there's mistakes here, or like that was like a lapse in concentration with that pass, or it can be sloppy at times. But you can forgive that for a guy who's literally 20 years old. 20 years old that we bought for like 30 odd million. Like this is a quality signing,
bro. It makes
do you not feel his energy? Do you not feel his energy? Like when I've been watching him with Reece, he just feels like he always gives 100. He's just up and down the pitch constantly. He doesn't stop.
Yeah, he's aggressive. Like he plays with that intensity.
Sure. And he has a rough edge about him. You know what I mean? Like he has that like.
I like him.
Like we gonna get into a battle today. You feel me? Like,
no, we were so happy. Like I was so happy when we got the signing over the line because we were talking about the likes of like Carl Walker Peters and other right backs as to be like a rotational option for James. But for me, I was like, I don't want just someone who's gonna just be there for rotation because James's injuries were too much. Like I need somebody that I can say is certified gonna be a top player for us, especially if they go into the role. And Gusto's been that, and he's still so young. It's crazy. So it's a great signing for us. And for me, like if James comes back, there's no way I'm dropping Gusto. I'm putting him to the left because our left backs are dead. Like Gusto has to play at this point for sure.
But who was saying like, look at the contrast and look how bad it makes Chilwell look. Like this guy is fucking. How old is Chilwell now? 27.
Is it because of his injuries though? Is he just regressed? Like, is he just not?
Bro, it's basic
you talking about midwell?
Like, regardless of injuries, like
because he was very good on the
pass into space.
That wing back system, he was amazing.
Yeah, the injuries definitely killed him. Like, obviously, I'm harsh on midwell, innit? Like a lot. Like I'm not a big fan of this game at all anymore since the injury, right?
Technicality, like I've seen.
Yeah, that was yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like no, you're right. Like the technicality even before the injuries was poor, but obviously now you see the lack of intensity to his game. Like he doesn't press the same way. He's not as confident. You just see it. Like he's lacked the confidence, like because he knows he hasn't got the same recovery pace that he had before the injury. So for sure, that's made his game a lot safer. And he just makes a lot more mistakes now, and he's just not progressing the ball the same way. And obviously, in a wing-back system, he could bail out a bad performance by scoring a worldie because he still has that ability, but he doesn't do that now. And people now just watch, oh, wait, he's not getting GA. Let me watch him closely. And they realize, oh, no, he's actually very average. He's very mid. And that's just thing
he is good at is making those attacking runs into space. Like, that's his thing. You know what I mean? But it's like, there's so much other things that even when, like, we're making out a switch of play to him and he has to take down the ball, his first touch always fails him. Like it's coming off his foot. It's not running into stride. His crosses is like like even when it's time to, he gets the ball on the left and he wants to play inside pass in the middle to like Enzo. He's afraid to do it. He doesn't trust himself technically. So you rather like shoot the ball up the line or something like that. Even I think on our third goal, the second goal, he scuffed the clearance. Like he completely whiffed something and it came in the middle of our box near the car. I think Enzo or someone had to make a play on it. Like, and this is our captain. Like, even the non-tangibles, right? When we're down 1-0 and I'm seeing the camera pan out to him, it looks like he's going under with the team. He's not stepping up. He's not commanding. He's not lifting them up on the pitch.
I can't believe the Sassy jumped on the fans. He actually flattened one of them on the floor.
That's celebration as well.
You know what it is, yeah?
And that's a tank.
That could be a lawsuit, man. He's got to be careful, man.
That could be a lawsuit, you know.
And he's not no Cole Palmer. That's a
proctors that again.
Do you know what it is about Chilwell? Do you know what it is about Chilwell? Yeah, we just have to. What it is. People that still defend him or think that he's gonna get any better. You need to realize, yeah. Defenders like Ben Chilwell they're becoming extinct in the modern game because you need to be able to play out from the back, when in terms of your technical ability. This is why Kyle Walker got dropped from Man City's team, because when it comes to playing out from the back and that, he's not as comfortable as a Rico Lewis on the ball. You know what I'm saying? Guys like that, right? And that's how a lot of these defenders, these fullbacks, are going to be going forward. Look at the young defenders coming up. You know, you got Trent comfortable on the ball. Reece James, comfortable on the ball. Gusto, comfortable on the ball. A lot of these fullbacks that are coming through now, this is how they're going to be playing. And unfortunately, Ben Chilwell, for the modern game, he's not it. We need to get rid of him in the summer. We need to get rid because he's only going to get worse. He is only going to get worse, bro.
The Walker example is a great one because Pep said that Walker can't play DM in the system. Like, he can't play that inverted role. So he has to play like a wide DB in it because Walker still has the elite recovery pace and elite like PMP. He's starting to slow down a little bit now, but he's still got enough that he can get by in that City team. Chilwell, because he's lost his pace, you don't feel like he can play like that kind of third centre back role because you don't think even defensively he's that kind of guy anymore. And obviously, as an inverted role, we know we can't do it. Going forward, we know he's not bringing anything in terms of build-up. It's only just maybe final third action, maybe in terms of getting a shot off, which even then, at times, is still poor. So, 100% Chilwell, we need to move on.
Don said after, sorry, ads.
No, I'm done, bro. You go.
Oh, do you think that's something that Poch is suffering from too? Because he wants to play direct, but the game is requiring you to play like that positional, like technical game, like where he wants those players to like be aggressive and play. That's why we look good against a Villa where there's spaces and we could go forward fast. But against low blocks where you need that kind of like technical interplay between tight spaces, he looks poor. Do you think like he struggled to adjust to that? Whereas his Tottenham team was very direct, and now he's with a different set of players that require a different system that are young, of course, too. But I think that Tottenham team was kind of young as well. Do you think he's struggling to adapt?
Yeah. I've just seen a video of Thiago Silva holding the ball like to about 20 fucking touches, and then went backwards. I've just seen it, funny enough. Yeah. I've seen one of them.
There's about like in that first half, there's about 5 or 6 of those exact same moments.
I was going to build my video around that. Big up Couch, because Couch said this early, bro. He said this early in the season. I said, you know what? I'm gonna pay more attention to it because I was like, I'm not too sure. But Couch is like, hey, listen, man, this guy takes too long on the ball, bruv. He said it from early.
Yeah, I can see.
The game just looks like it moves slow with him. It just looks like it moves slow.
He just
hesitates. Plain as day.
Yeah,
and even the easy decisions when the ball's at his feet, just play it to Enzo. He's holding it 5, 6, 7 times.
And then when he's progressing, he's closing in on the spaces that our midfielder is supposed to take up. And
when you see him, he points his arms. He just points his arms.
Yeah,
he was there. He went like that.
Like people don't even bother making runs anymore because they don't even want to get. They know they're not getting the ball. You know, it's just like the ball. When the ball comes to Thiago Silva, the play just dies right there because he's just slowing it down so much. And this is coming from somebody that has said. This is coming from somebody that is so funny. But is it true or is it not? It's fact.
Nah, it is. That's what I'm saying. No, it's just funny. It's just funny though.
No, because this is coming from a guy that still thinks he's our best defender. But the reason why I don't think that we should play with him anymore is because the way we have to play is basically to support him. And he's not necessarily the best in terms of how we want to play football. Like, he's not the guy that we should be building around, if that's what I mean.
Yeah, we shouldn't sacrifice a whole system for him.
We can't build around this guy, even though he's our best defender.
I mean, he should have been phased out from early. It should have been.
Yeah, probably.
Like from last year, we should have been beginning to.
Bro, we should have had a nice left hand side of like Maatsen, Levi Colwell left centre back because Badiashile can't stay fit. Disasi on the other side. You know, Disasi's not a little kid, man. Like when Silva's not playing, Disasi, like I said in the group chat the other day, he's the one that steps in as the next leader in command. Yeah,
he's 25 with like over 100 plus games.
He's got a lot of experience. I don't understand why Poch literally felt that these kids need their hand held by Silva. If anything, they need to hold his hand because he's getting old. He's getting old. You know what I'm saying? So, boy, he needs to just
across the street.
I can't be seeing him like now. Obviously, like look, I hope he's well. You know, I don't know what's going on with this injury, but it could potentially be a little blessing in disguise if it allows us to play a little bit better.
But even
you know what I'm saying, bro, I can't lie, bro.
Yeah, it's true. But listen, I agree with everything that's being said in it. All I'm gonna say is just big up Silva because for what he's had to go through and do for us at 39 years of age, like the club, honestly, the club is actually a shambles for having to make him play as many minutes as he has, and even to Couch's point, arguably still be our best centre back. But you're right, like to get the best out of other players in the team and to give us the right balance, he can't play because the way that we want to play on the ball. And if we don't lose it, like we need recovery pace. And he does not have that. So absolutely, he should have already been in a role where he's playing just the odd minute here and there, maybe to see out a game Maybe if you need to play a back five, cool, we can play in the middle for like 15 minutes, cool. But to play week in, week out, I'm sorry, like he should not have been having to do
Like
that. And
3
the fact that he's not even
games
had that many
at
injuries
25
is
is
a respect
crazy.
to him. But obviously now Colwell comes
He's been
in. Hopefully
past us.
Colwell and the Sassy can establish something because we need to move on from Silva.
We need to look past, like we all know that we need to look past Silva. I don't think he's going to be in next year, personally. So him playing lesser games now, coming to near the end of the season, makes more sense. And I think Poch should be looking to build relationships with who he thinks is best too. However, I know it's hard because Badiashile now pulls his groin, disappears for a month again. Wesley Fofana he's not going to be featuring at any point this season. So
Who?
we won't see
That's crazy.
Wait, who did you say, Jem?
Fofana.
Fofana.
Who's that?
Fofana.
Who's that?
Yeah, who's Fofana? Who's that, man?
Who's Lavia?
Yeah.
Who's Lavia? Who's Lavia as well? Who's that?
Who are these guys? I mean,
Bro, every time I can't even lie, bro. Man, when I'm watching Nkunku, yeah, I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs. You know, I'm thinking, yo, is this guy gonna drop any second with something else? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've got serious
Even
PTSD,
Colwell, bro. Colwell picks up his fair share of injuries.
Do you know when you saw him on the pitch yesterday? I know, like the thing that annoyed me a little bit yesterday was that we weren't creating enough for Nkunku a little bit. Just I felt like he was making like good little movements and runs in behinds and that. And I think like Palmer tried to find him a couple times but didn't succeed. But when he does get the ball, and he's just got this different level of quality. It's weird. Like he just moves with the ball so easily. It doesn't matter even if it's a big 6-foot centre back. He's holding that guy up easily.
Natural ability, man.
Well.
Natural ability.
So,
But and then he wants to play that little 1-2 neat passes. You know what I mean?
You know where he nearly scored yesterday when Palmer played the ball for him in the box and he kind of like was running, but he like pulled it with his right foot. He was trying to like drag it across.
Yeah,
hit it. Cool. Like
even for there was a shot that Palmer had, yeah, where he basically just gave a back pass to the keeper. Nkunku was in space.
He's going to score. You give him chance. No, this guy.
But this is the thing about Nkunku, right? Like, Nkunku will like, and we saw it in preseason, right? Like he'll kind of like drift through games. He's not the kind of guy to like always make sure, oh, I'm on the ball. Like, but when he gets on the ball, like you see the quality in it, and that's why he can't play lone 9 in the Premier League because against low block, he's gonna just not be a factor in games. Like we need to try and find a way to get him more into games. And again, that's on the manager. But can the manager find those tactical solutions?
Yeah, I think Poch will do an inverted switch between him and Jackson, where it may be Nkunku that starts off the left, but then he finds himself next to Jackson in the forward positions, and then vice versa. Jackson might run across, and Nkunku might, and it happened a lot of times just that he might find himself as a 9. Look, at the end of the day, we haven't got a striker. So for what we've got to do to the end of the season is make it work between Jackson and
Jem, pardon me. We have Denzel on the bench, man. It's the Washington, man.
Denzel Washington. Is he not an actor?
I'm like Denzel, you know.
Bro, listen, I can't lie to you lot, yeah. We've kept the guy. We haven't sent him out on loan. We always see him in these training videos and that, scoring these goals and whatnot, whatever. I know it's only training. I want to just see him. I'm not saying he's the answer. Yeah, I'm not saying he's the answer. I just want Bro, I just want to see him. He made it to the first team for Santos. I know it's again different levels, guys. I'm not saying he's going to be our savior. I just want to at least see him. At least
he
was a reserve player for Santos. He only just about got into their team for a little bit, and then we decided to sign him. Like he barely broke into their team.
It's true.
I feel like I have a strong inkling that he's going to get some time. A strong inkling. I don't know what it is. I just feel like I think he's going to get some time.
I feel like
he's 6'2". That's quite full for a kid, you know. He's 6'2".
That Leeds game, he must get a run, bro.
Bro, he looks clean. He looks clinical, bro. Like, I listen, from the clips I've seen of him, like before he joined Chelsea and that, the guy is quite clinical, man. And even for the 23s, he scored some good goals against Man City.
And that's what I'm going on. The fact that I've seen him at the U23s, and he looks like he's definitely above that level. Like he's not playing at he's above that level, but maybe not Premier League level, right?
To me,
but I feel like they're going to give him some time.
To me, if we could get somebody up there that you could play passes off of, that's going to be a presence there. Because right now we're trying to shoehorn our best players in that position, and it's hurting us. You know what I mean? We can't. Palmer and Nkunku, they need to be on the ball, just like Couch was saying at the beginning. Like you like to play fast movements. When I like to be on the ball. When you don't get the ball, you start going cold. You know what I mean? And you don't feel like you're part of the game. Like we need those guys. Even the Crystal Palace game, like Jem, what we were saying. Why are creatives not getting on the ball? It's like they're pressed up against Crystal Palace backline, and we that Silva. We're not getting those balls into them the way they could turn and run at the defender. Like We need those guys on board. So we need to fix that problem.
I agree with that, Xavi. But to be quite honest with you, if you took my video clips of when I was playing left wing and when I scored 22 goals in the season on Sunday football, you would have wanted me up front. All I'm saying is you would have wanted me up front because some of the finishes were like unbelievable techie.
No,
I'm not trying to take it off Washington or anything, but I'm saying
no.
I'm not.
Are you talking about career mode, by the way?
This is the point that supersedes like Washington. Yo, Jam. I'm making a point that supersedes Washington. I feel like we have such a big elephant in the room that we don't have that focal presence. Everything we're doing is trying to cover up for that. You know what I mean? So we're trying to make shift around that, which like I kind of feel that 1% sympathy for Poch. Like you took off Broja, who's fucking ass, bro. I think he's terrible. But you don't like even get him. You get him.
Bro is going to score more goals for Fulham than he did at Chelsea.
You don't get.
Well, I would hope so.
Look. Like I know he may be injured, but a guy like I won't need. Like I mean, shit on him. But someone in that 9 position that would be cheap. Maybe Forrest will put up a fight, but who's like a little bit of a stopgap who don't mind playing number 2 to a striker like Osimhen or something like that. Whoever y'all get in, whoever we get. You know what I mean? In that we needed that, bro. Yeah,
he's actually speaking my language right now, bro. He's speaking my language. I was saying all season that we need just somebody, even if it's not a fashionable name, we just get somebody who's a 9, who's experienced, and he wants to come to the club. Because listen, if you offer them a 6-month contract, give them a bit of a boosted wage, like we did with João Felix, right? It's an option because we don't have that 9 profile in the squad. I mean, we kind of had it with Broja, but like everybody saw he's not the same guy post injury, right? So we needed somebody, but the club decided not to do it, and now we're leaving Poch with not enough tools in the attack to change games. To be honest, for me, like it's not adequate. The tools that he has.
The guy we could have gone. The guy we could have gone for just went Inter. What's his name?
Taremi. Yeah, I was saying that even last summer. Like, get that guy even for a year. That whatever you got to do, just get somebody like that. There's guys out there.
Mate, I'm taking Giroud back as it is right now, man. Just something.
What about Victor Gavokres? He's banging.
Nah, he would have to be like a number 1 signing because he's going to cost like 80 million. And I don't want him as my number 1. Like I want a number 2 kind of striker. Because Jackson isn't really a number 2 kind of. I mean, Jackson is a number 2 striker, but he's not like a physical presence in the box, and he's not really a striker anyways, to be honest. So
left winger.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I prefer him on the left.
We profiled him when we signed him. We were like, we got a £35 million striker. Yes, we'll be all right.
Yeah, we jumped down a bit.
And now he's playing left wing. We even got a striker still.
Bro, you know what? There's times I just sit there and I just shake my head and think, bro, we've actually got a goalkeeper that's got a strong, solid hand. You know what I'm saying? We've got a guy that's a beast in goal. I'll be real, like for the price that we paid for this guy. Obviously, he came with a good reputation from the MLS and that, but everyone laughs at that league. He's a bit slow for the goal yesterday. He should have moved his legs a bit quicker. I think. I think what I'm saying is in general, because if you remember that, he could have done a little bit better for the goal, Gem. But in general, overall, just what I've seen of him in general, like all the games that he's played, and even yesterday when Chilwell the bum gave away the ball, and what's his name? Franco had that shot. Yeah, that was a solid hand to get to that, you know, because there's so many long shots that Kepa would let in, and people are like, oh, he can't, no keeper's getting to that, and I'm like, bro, you should be able to get to that, but this guy makes it just look like business as usual. So big up Petrovic, man. Big up Petrovic. Yeah. I'm not saying he was amazing yesterday, but I'm just giving him a little bit of prop. Just giving him a little bit of prop in general.
The things that I still don't like about him was very much still evident again today. His distribution is poor.
Yeah,
his distribution is extremely poor.
It is.
Like, what are you doing? Like even that out ball to Nkunku, like Nkunku was isolated against the defender. He's trying he puts it like Nkunku's central. Nkunku's central. He kicks it out of bounds.
Yeah, I agree with that.
These are things I'm talking about. Like, his distribution is horrible, man.
Couch, if he does the fundamentals properly, which is something we struggle with goalies in the
that is fundamental now. Distribution is fundamental.
No, it's true.
I mean, it is now. I mean, Peter Cech wasn't great at playing balls out, and he was a great goalie.
Right.
Honest with you. But, you know, it's not to say that he even said himself in an interview, he goes, my weakness is playing the balls out, which I'm actually working on at the moment. He's actually trying to develop and work on it. That's going to take a bit of time. If that's your weakness.
As crazy as Cam said that, I actually did see a little bit. I know it's still horrible, but I seen improvement. Like he played an out ball, I think, to Gusto. First time that before he was getting fucking wrong all the time. Like I know it's horrible. I just think we're at a point in time where we just need that keeper to do his job. Because it's like even when I have
agree.
Sanchez there and I'm playing out the back, I get heart attacks, bro. I don't get heart attacks with him. So it's allowing us to focus on other things. You know what I mean?
Basics. Yeah, he does the basics, which is shot stopping. He controls the box for me quite well. His long distance passing ain't bad. I don't think his short passing is bad. Receiving the ball, passing left and right, it's not too bad. He knows how to get the ball out. It's just I know what Cab's saying. It's just that long.
Yeah, I feel like we still miss. I won't even say miss Sanchez. We just miss a competent keeper playing at the back in it. Like Sanchez is actually okay playing at the back at times, but obviously he will overplay at times and give away chances. And to be fair, we could have been punished a lot more this season. But when he gets it right, Sanchez will try and actually like break the lines, like play better long balls. It's still not great, but it's something that we do miss in our game now. And in terms of like a low block, right? Like sometimes you can actually invite the press on. You can invite Palace out of their block if you play from the back. And if we use Petrovic or we use a goalkeeper properly, then we can actually create our own counter attacks. But we don't have that ability with Petrovic.
The thing with Petrovic, as much as Sanchez is better on the ball in terms of his distribution, but the only thing with Sanchez is that he's not smart when to do it and when not to do it. He tries to do it every single time.
For me,
and
he's
it's
got
like,
a bozo gene.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, you're not at Brighton anymore. I know De Zerbi told you, like, listen, keep playing it from the back here, but bro, if you got to go long at times, just go long, and that's what I like about Petrovic. Like, he will go short when he needs to, and he'll just bang it out when he needs to as well. Do you know what I'm saying?
I like that. Yeah, I agree.
And
I like that.
I think our build-up patterns are not too like set right now, so I'll prefer that because these dudes, I've seen too much times where we're causing unnecessary pressure. Like even if it's not a direct goal, we're causing a corner that leads to a goal off of stupid shit like that. You know what I mean? I think our pressing issues right now supersedes him. Like,
no. I hear you, guys.
Put it this way: if we had Petrovic for the Arsenal game, we win that game. I'll be real.
That mistake was a big moment in the season. You know, like if we won that game after beating Tottenham as well, I mean, come on, man, that would have been.
But you know what's crazy,
game
guys?
changing. But
like as bad as we're doing in the however you want to say it, win against Wolves, we would have been like in 7-6 right now.
Oh, run up the table, Jim. Run up the table. Let's finish up on that.
Like a win here, that's what I'm saying. The season is still salvageable. Like it's still salvageable. But we got obviously our run.
I mean, this weekend, I'm just.
That's the beginning. Getting top 10th is the first.
I'm praying for a miracle. I'm praying for a miracle for us, firstly against City, and I'm praying that the teams like Man United and that they drop points. We're going to need it.
35, 37, 39, 40. So we're 7 points off Man United at the moment. That's where we are.
Oh God.
6. So
that's nothing. That's nothing though.
So we're
with the run we got though.
12 points off 5th, and we're 13 points off 4th, and we're like 7 points off Man United.
So think about it, John. A win would have had us in if we just done the job against Wolves, we would have been in 7th right now. Because we're on 34 points now.
And guess what? We've got City next. Great.
That's the only thing that.
Are we doing a preview for that or a review? Or what's the plan?
We're doing a match reaction for that. I might see if I can get a preview in as well on Friday.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Okay.
Look at Man City's form.
Listen, I'm a Man City fan for that game. I can't lie, bro. People will hate me for that, but listen, I'm not trying to see Liverpool or Arsenal win the league. So, yeah, man. Man. Like, come on, man.
I don't mind Liverpool winning the league. Yeah, it's just
I know too many Liverpool fans, bro. They are so obnoxious, bro. Like, so obnoxious.
Couch. If we beat City, which I'll be real, it's very unlikely.
We'll beat them.
City will just bounce back anyway. You don't want to buckle angry City. You don't want to buckle angry City. So listen, as much as they're lesser of the two evils. No, I'm sorry, man.
We'll just have our best game and absolutely smoke Man City, yeah, because they'll all come out and we'll have space to run in behind. Jackson will be playing with Nkunku probably, and it will just work. Watch Palmer will
Poch get the tactics right for that game, right? Because we saw what happened at Anfield, bro. Now we're going to Etihad. Like, yo, if we don't get our tactics right, that could be 7-0, bro. Haaland's back in scoring form. KDB.
That could be bad.
Again, Liverpool slapped us 4-0 without Salah, bro. Without Salah, Nunes hit the woodwork 4 times. If that's Haaland, he's getting a double hat trick, bro. Yo,
True.
But that's the
very
thing. I hope
true.
we don't set up as bad because I'm much like as crazy as it sounds. I'd much rather see a team where we have space. The only thing that's bad is that City just dominate the ball, so it's annoying. But it's
Well, I'm
like
gonna
when we
go
play
with
these
4-0 Chelsea, but
when we
we'll
play
do
these
it.
low block teams, it's painful to watch at times, bro. It really is.
I think we're gonna have to win the midfield battle there, and I think we're gonna have to press them high and try and win the balls up high like we always try against them. But it's just whether he's gonna play fullback. So if he's gonna...
Within the midfield battle against Rodri, that's not an easy.
I hope
It's not easy work.
That's what Gallagher's there, isn't it? He's to be the best runner in the Premier League. Get running, mate. Do you know what I mean?
He was good against them at home, to be fair. He had a good game against Rodri, actually. Probably the best game anybody's had against Rodri, actually, now I think about it. But we'll see, man. I mean, they're going to probably start maybe Nunes. He's not been great for them. Or Kovacic, perhaps, potentially, if he's not injured again.
And
So
I think he's
been
out,
watching them lately.
Yeah.
Who's out?
Have you been watching City lately?
Cover's out, okay. Yeah,
No, the
probably
other day,
Nunes again.
I think I saw, what was it? I was watching Sky Sports the other day, and they said Cover was out. I was literally a few days ago. I don't know if he's back, but you know he is, man. That guy's injury prone.
He's playing. I hope he's playing.
Yeah, literally.
I want him to play. Obviously.
That guy's basically done nothing for them, really. He's done nothing.
I want him to play. Get him in the pit.
There were City fans who said Pep's going to turn him into a goal scorer, you know. They were not familiar with his game.
I don't know what they were watching, bro. Listen, remember that game when we had flipping man like Bruno, Mr. Egghead, managing us after Potter got sacked, and then Kovacic had literally a finish from like how many, like 6 yards out, and he just hits it over the top. That guy can't be saved in front of goal, man. He can't be saved in front of goal.
Kovacic was that kind of player. He used to score the most awkward goals, but when it comes to the basic ones, he just fuck them.
So he scored screamers, man.
Hey, Jem, we were lucky enough to see one of his at Leicester. We went Leicester away.
Yeah, that's true.
When Havertz scored that day as well.
Literally once in the blue moon.
I just gotta say quickly before we jump off. We didn't get into the player reviews, number one, but for me, man of the match for me was the DJ at Selhurst Park. Like that was man of the match.
He was
I kid you not. Like Three Little Birds changed the energy and momentum, especially with the away fans, and it got us playing. Like that was massive.
Yeah, we need to bring that chant to the bridge, man.
Nah, facts.
I might even change it to my intro song on here. That might be a good idea. Big up, I'll be back at some point in the week for the Man City game. Good little show. Hope you enjoyed it. Over 150 people here. Take care of yourselves. Up the Chelsea, 2 in a row.
Up the Chelsea.
1 second. I deleted it, didn't I?
Charlie put on his Twitter. You can get it up.
No, I was gonna do something. I was gonna say, where is it? You know what I'm like? I'm shameless when it comes to this guy. You can only think out who it is. I'm shameless.
I kind of
not Havertz, right? Not Havertz, no.
That's good. I'm gonna be. I'm ends.
Better be my guy.
All the haters, suck up, suck out. See you later, man. Yeah.